Welcome back, guys. I'm so happy to be back, guys. Oh my gosh. If I start to tell you guys the story of me getting to this place to film today, guys, it was not an easy journey. Let me tell you that. It was not an easy journey, as in, I got here to film, and turns out I hadn't booked early enough. So I got here to film, guys. I had to wait for 1 hour inside this flipping steaming room. Like, I was being cooked alive, like salmon. Guys, I was sitting inside this room called the sunset room, and I was burning alive. I was just like, is this what happens? Is this the punishment? Is this what hell feels like? Is this what hell feels like? Because, guys, I was burning alive, but we made it through. We made it through. Before we get started, make sure you follow us, guys, on our social medias. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Ollis TV, Ollis TV, yes, on Instagram. And if you want to follow us on YouTube, it's the Ollis Show. TikTok is the Ollis Show. Spotify is the Ollis Show. Everything is the Ollis Show, guys. So make sure you give us a follow. And if you want to follow me personally as your host, I'm Timothy Ollis. I would much appreciate that double tap. Is it a double tap? No, it's a single tap, isn't it? It's a single tap on my follow. And yes, guys, join the community. Talking about community, we have to have a name. We have to have a name for this community, guys. Everybody has names for their communities, and we don't have one yet. But I'm the type of person, guys, I'm going to wait. The name is going to come. It's going to come over time. We're not going to force it. So my week, it's been good. It's actually been really relaxed. This was my first week back to school. That sounds really weird. Like, I'm in my 20s and I'm just like back to school. But yes, guys, I am a university student. So this was my first week back to university, guys. And honestly, it was really good. Like, actually, it was nice. You know, sometimes I have to remind myself that I actually have a good time studying my course, you know. But it was nice to be back, guys. We were doing this kind of like research thing, so it was a big break from like what we're used to. So we're not necessarily inside of the hospitals and all of that. So it's been really nice doing, you know, this research and just kind of like chilling. So I feel like a university student now, and it's been fun. And yeah, it's been a good week. How has y'all's week been? Oh my gosh, guys, how has y'all's week been? Sometimes I have to repeat my words because I actually can't speak English, and it's actually my first language, which is ridiculous. But how has y'all's week been? Let me know, guys. Comment down below. Let us know, how has the week been going. I hope it's been well. I hope you got that promotion at your job. That might be too big, actually. But I hope you're starting your new year correctly. Whatever resolutions you guys had, I hope you're doing them. I hope you're hitting that gym. I hope you're doing that squat, building those glutes, guys. I really hope you're doing whatever you need to be doing this year. And I hope you guys are having a great time at it as well. It's been a hectic week, guys. It's been crazy. The socials have been popping off. LA is burning down. Give me a second, guys. I need a break. Give me a second. I'm back. Oh my gosh. LA is flipping burning down, guys. Like, I feel like, even though I was being all jokes and games and stuff, guys, it's really sad. And honestly, I just really hope and pray that the families have, like, you know, been able to evacuate. All of those different people living there have been able to evacuate safely. We're hoping no one has got serious injuries or death. Oh my gosh, it's just so sad to see. But honestly, guys, yeah, life is crazy. These natural disasters, guys, we gotta keep prayed up. We gotta keep prayed up. Pray to God, girl. Like, we gotta pray. It's kind of crazy because I will be going back to LA during summer. So I'm just like, and the place that was burning down was quite literally where I was this summer. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. But guys, yeah, we've got to keep LA in our prayers. It's been crazy. But overall, guys, my week has been chill. I feel like this weekly catch-up is really short. I just don't know what else to say in terms of my week. But my brother did go back. If you don't know, I have two younger brothers. A fun fact about us, guys, is that we have exactly 1 year and 11 months between us. And I'm born in May. My brother who's 18 is born in April, and the one who's 16 is born in March. Guys, it's flipping crazy. So he went back to university, and it actually got me thinking, these students, like, I'm lucky. I can stay at home for university, guys. Like, I don't have to do too much. But for the girls who have to be moving, you guys who are moving up and down from home back to university, from home back to university, y'all have got some real endurance. Like, honestly, the life of a student is not easy, guys. Like, imagine moving from one place to another. You'll go during Easter back home. You're going to in May back to the university accommodation. Guys, y'all have got real endurance. Like, I know for me, they would have to pack me the heck up, guys, because I'm not doing it. I would hit the airport and that would be me done. Talk less of even boarding the flight. Y'all have got some real endurance, so I have major respects for you guys. But me, I'm enjoying my life here, guys. After here, I'm going back home. Yes, I'm going back to my humble abode. I'm not doing too much, guys. But yeah, guys, that just got me thinking about university students. I actually wonder how many of you guys are university students. How many of y'all are university students? Because I have a lot of respect for the university students. Again, this podcast is for whoever, but we have a soft spot for the university boys and girls, honestly. So let me know, guys, if you're a university student. Comment down below. Comment wherever you can comment, because I do not know where this is going to get posted. Comment where you can and let me know what you study and what your aspirations are. But we're going to get into the get to. So let's move into that section now. Okay, guys, we're in the get to. I feel like that's the name we're gonna call it. Get into the get to. So, guys, the topic for today, I don't want to say necessarily that I have a topic, but I had some things I jotted down here on my iPad that I wanted to discuss. And the first thing that came to mind was the concept of self-love, loving yourself. Like, I posted a video on my TikTok about this, and it actually got me really thinking, like, what does self-love actually look like? And have there been any experiences that I've been through where I haven't necessarily loved myself as much? And whenever I think about that, I always think back to, like, the time of starting university and stuff, and, like, making that transition, guys, from from secondary school to university. And I always think back, and, like, we always used to have such a big friend group and stuff, and a lot of the time I would go out, I would go outside, we would go outside, whether it's ice skating, whatever the heck we're doing, guys, we would go outside and have fun. And we would do it a lot. Like, maybe if it was not every day, it would be every other day. We'd go outside, we'd have fun, and then you come back home and you sit down and you're like, oh, like, what do I do now? And I felt like back then I would always look at that as, like, well, I just got to get myself ready for the next thing we're going to do. But it actually, as you grow older, you kind of realize that's not normal, and, like, whenever you're constantly on the run, constantly on the go, like, you're always so busy, sometimes finding that time for yourself is so important. And then whenever you finally have that time for yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this time? And it brings a lot of things. Oh my gosh, girl, it's my camera, she's about to die. See you later, girl. That was really smart and technological. Oh my gosh, DGI just went boom, boom, boom. Did you see? Guys, it's okay. Let me not talk too much. But what I'm trying to say is this. Having that time by yourself is so important, especially on, like, your self-love circle or self-love journey. It's important to have that time by yourself where you can actually, decompress. It's important for self-love, and it's important for a lot of different things, because every kind of improvement I've made in my life in the past couple of years, whether it's, like, in the way of, like, confidence, improving my confidence, or whatever the case may be, it's come from having moments by myself and literally, like, pausing for a second and being like, okay, this is an issue that I need to fix. Because I've never been able to fix it or make these advancements in my life in a group of people or being busy. In fact, those times have been the times where I've just been living in whatever mindset I had going on there. If there was an issue, I just lived in that issue. But having those times by myself where I've been like, okay, there's a big pause, has been so instrumental in my growth cycle. Like, there's, like, times I will look back, I'm just like, I would never have gotten to this point where I feel confident or whatever. Like, I'm not perfect, guys, trust me. Like, there's so many days, like, I'll wake up and I'll look at myself, I'm just like, oof, girl, like, like, oof, girl, it's a hard day to love you. Like, let me not lie. So there's days that you're gonna wake up in the mirror and look into the mirror, guys, you're gonna look at yourself and be like, oh, it's a hard time loving you, honestly. Like, and it's about having that strength to actually pick yourself up and be like, no, even though like I'm not feeling what I look like today, or this situation is pissing me off, or whatever the case may be, like I still love myself regardless of that. And like, you know, finding that strength. Because guys, trust me, there's days I wake up, I look at myself, I'm just like, oof, girl, you are a hard one to love. Like only a mother could love that face. But it's about like getting up and just persevering. And I found, for me personally, having those times where I can actually decompress outside of everybody has been so important in growing. I filmed like a video. I was just like, oh my gosh, guys, this is what we need to do to improve our self-confidence. This is what we need to do to improve our self-love. And the first thing is always just finding that time to actually, you know, take away the distractions and enjoy your company. That actually brings me to my first experience, guys. My first experience enjoying my company fully. My first solo trip. Well, I'm going to say my first full solo trip was in November, guys. Oh my gosh. I went to Portugal, and that was a fun time, guys. That was a fun story. Like, I actually was so nervous leading up to it. I was just like, how am I gonna do this? I'm actually alone. Like, I'm not going with anybody. Nobody's meeting me at the airport. I was actually gonna be alone for this trip. And we went to Portugal. Well, I went to Portugal in November after my exams, and I was literally just by myself, guys. Like, I would wake up in the morning, I would go on a run, I would then come back to my accommodation. I would make some food, and then I would set my plan out for today, girl. Like, literally, I would be like, okay, we're gonna hit here, we're gonna go on this boat trip, we're gonna do this by myself, literally. And that showed me, literally for the first time, that it's so important, guys, to actually, you know, have that time for yourself. I always used to be so scared. I'll be like, I'm gonna get bored. Like, I don't have anyone here to entertain me. But trust me, like, you are actually a lot more interesting than you think. You know, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We're actually a lot more interesting than we think we are. And spending time with ourselves opens so many different things. You know, I feel like this is an issue a lot of us don't actually realize. Like, you can't make steps towards growth if you aren't alone. And I completely back that statement. You can't grow if you aren't alone. You need to be alone to grow. And I'm not saying, yes, be alone for the rest of your life, girl. No. But I'm just saying, for you to make those steps, you need to be alone. And then whenever you come into those group of friends, in fact, you're going to attract people who are having those same interests as you. Those people who are interested in the same things of self-growth, motivation, discipline, building your business, all of this kind of stuff, you're going to naturally attract those kinds of people to you. And the ones who are not interested in that are naturally going to filter out, guys. And that's just a cycle of things. That's honestly just a cycle of things. And I found having this time by myself has been so useful. A funny story that came to my mind just about that Portugal trip was, guys, traveling to a different country is not for the weak. It's not for the weak, guys. Please, if you're traveling to a different country, make sure that you understand the language. Why am I walking around in Portugal, guys, and I don't even know how to say thank you? I don't even know how to say good morning, guys. Like, the woman, I entered into one like ornament shop because this was heading up to December, and I was just like, I was paying for something. I was just like, what do I say after this? Like, what is the next statement that I say after this? So I was just like, thank you. And she was just like, obrigado. I'm just like, girl, I don't understand what you're saying to me. I don't understand. And then in my accommodation, one of the guys there, he was just, I was wearing this outfit that I was wearing for my last day. It was like a red shirt and some beige trousers, guys. And the guy was just like, you like, I could tell he was like saying your outfit looks good, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. So, you know, whenever you get to a point where you don't understand someone, you're just like, That's what I had to do for that whole conversation, guys. Like, I felt so awkward, and it taught me, if you're going to do this self-improvement, self-journey, guys, do it in a country where you can speak the language, because it was such a hassle. Like, I had to be pulling out Google Translate every 5 minutes, even to like get like groceries and stuff, guys. It was a lot. But guys, honestly, that trip, it was necessary. I feel like it actually allowed me to step into like a zone of self-improvement. I discovered a lot on that trip about myself that I didn't necessarily like, and what I wanted to change, and my habits and like my priorities. It was really useful. But yeah, guys, that's a little piece on self-improvement. Guys, something just came to my mind, and I don't really want to talk about it on here, but I'm going to because I feel like this podcast gives me the opportunity to be real and to be very honest. Guys, this week a key moment happened at the beginning of this week, guys, and it was not easy going through it. Like, honestly, like and this links back to friendships, which I talked about a while ago, and like friendships come to an end, and friendships are this, friendships are that. And guys, at the beginning of this week, I had a major friendship like breakup, honestly, and it was quite a big one. Like, honestly, I've never experienced that in my life, full stop. Every friendship that I don't have has just been like, okay, we've drifted apart, but this was like a full-on friendship breakup. And I was just like sitting there, and I felt, firstly, I was just like, am I in a movie? Because it was giving, we met up and we were having the conversations and like discussing what we don't like about the friendship, and they picked up their stuff and just left. I was just like, am I in a movie? Like, honestly, guys, it was giving me Gilmore Girls. I was just like, what do I do now? What's the next scene? Because I ate that up. But honestly, guys, no, it taught like that situation. I'll break it down very quickly, but basically this was with one of my closest friends, and basically we kind of came to like a decision or an understanding that we're not at the same place anymore, and there was a lot of issues in our friendship. There were so many issues. Like, I personally felt that the other person inside that friendship was not a great friend in terms of like, reciprocality, and they felt in return that I wasn't like reaching out. And I know that's an issue that I've had. Like, you actually have to be really honest with yourself in these kind of things. Like, I've always had like, well, not always, I'm fixing it, but I've had issues in terms of like communicating, and I feel like that was majorly my issue. Like, I just didn't communicate much, but my mindset wasn't necessarily in a place of like, I don't want to talk to you. It was in a place of, guys, I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to check this mic. We're gonna have to check this camera, because guys, if it's not recording, I might cry tears. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, guys, I keep it real here. I'm so sorry. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But guys, I'm gonna keep it real, because y'all are gonna want to enjoy this video, but there's not gonna be a video if I don't check. So let's get back to what we were discussing. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I feel like they had issues with like my communication, and I had issues with just like the friendship, and I didn't feel like it was reciprocal. And I felt like whenever they wanted to hear my issues, it was like a case of, how do I put it? It was like a case of like, they would hear it, but they wouldn't give anything back, and I would always try and make myself in a position to give something back, if it was me hearing their issues. Regardless, to say, like, there were a lot of issues, and I feel like it's hard navigating friendships whenever like you're doing a transition point. Like, we were transitioning from like leaving high school into university, and that's a major transition point. Like, any friends you make from university onwards, like, those are your friends who you have in like your element of life, who you are as this person now. But whenever you're moving from high school, you're changing as a person, and you change in terms of like your habits towards your friends. You change. So I was definitely changing a lot of different ways. The person was also changing in a lot of different ways as well. And we were realizing that these habits and these things that were going on were not okay, and were not satisfying us as friends. So it got to a point where just like, yeah, like, it was just, the friendship was feeling awkward. Things were just, not going greatly. And yeah, guys, we cut it off. But one thing I will say, guys, if you have a podcast, maybe it's best to maybe send a clip to the person, because I won't lie, the first episode where I talked about friendships precipitated this argument and this discussion. But I'm going to keep it real, guys. I'm going to keep it real. It was tough, but I honestly feel like I'm glad and I'm grateful for that element of growth. I am glad to be able to be stepping away from that situation and stepping into a better situation with myself and like with the people I have around me now. And it's so important to actually have friend groups which align with who you are as a person. I used to always believe, no, I can have different friends, I can have different people around me, and it all will make sense. it doesn't, you know. I've definitely been the type of person in the past where I've had like different types of, you know, friendships, you know, and like I've given a lot of effort into them, but like as you go older, those facets of yourself kind of become one, and you kind of just want to be around one group. And I've realized that like I'm grateful for having the group I have now. I'm so grateful for my group of friends that like I don't really, you know, the other, like I'm happy just cutting off things that don't align with myself. And that was kind of what this situation was like. I feel like with all my groups, like they can't, well, not my groups, my friends, they kind of align, but like this one was the only thing that didn't align. But yeah, guys, I was not joking whenever I said this is a real talk. Not me getting emotional, but guys, no, that's my friendship breakup. That was my friendship breakup. What else do we have on the list to discuss for today? Oh my gosh, there's a lot of things. The issue of self-growth and consistency. What do I have to say with self-growth and consistency, guys? I have to say, for self-growth and consistency, make sure you can maintain your consistency, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy. Like me coming here today, I was low-key sitting here. I was just like, do I want to film today? Do I want to do it? But then I kind of had to pick myself up and be like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to continue doing this. Even if nobody watches it. I'm going to continue doing it because I enjoy it. And consistency is so important because it's, people think, oh, I'm going to be consistent in this. I want to be consistent in the gym. That's the incorrect mindset. Consistency is actually like a thing where if you have consistency, you have it, period. Like priorities come before consistency. Whatever is your priority, you're going to be consistent in it regardless of, oh, I just want to be specifically consistent in the gym. No, you're going to carry that consistency in everything. Consistency is a value, and it's something that you can obtain. And that's something I've come to understand about consistency. I can actually obtain consistency for myself. You know, like I don't need to say I want to be consistent in the gym. No, if I want to be consistent, if I just want to be a more consistent person, I will be consistent. And whatever my priorities are, I will be consistent in every single one of them. And that's definitely something I've understood about consistency. But it's hard. I won't lie, guys. It's so hard to maintain consistency. I won't lie, because that comfort of the bed, and I'm being so real, I'm not even joking, the comfort of the bed is your biggest enemy whenever it comes to consistency, guys. Like, oh my gosh, I will sit down in my bed and I'm just like, I don't want to move. I don't want to move. But then at the same time, I have to look at myself and be like, well, I do want to be in a future where I have this and I have that and I have this going on, and I can't make that a reality if I don't put the work in. So that's something that like I've learned like about consistency, but it's not easy. It's not easy maintaining it. It can be tricky, you know. I'm referring to my list, guys, because there's a lot of stuff. I put this on my list. I put this on my list. Oh my gosh. Okay. Camp story times. Camp stories. Oh my gosh, guys. Camp is a thing that and this is kind of a jump because we were kind of on like a wavelength and we've kind of jumped. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I low-key have undiagnosed ADHD, so sometimes I do have the tendency to just jump from topic to topic. Bear with me. But one thing I've realized, well, is that I love America, firstly, and I love camp. Doing camp last year was so much fun, guys. It was like one of the best experiences I've had in my life. Like just traveling and just being able to like meet new people and literally live in like a movie or like in a fever dream for 3 months was so fun. Like, oh my gosh, guys. I feel like I haven't given anyone the story time on that because it's like, it doesn't feel real. Like it doesn't feel real, and I can't even go back and describe everything. But I've been able to collate some stories that I'm going to share today with you guys on my camp experience. So we're going to put it up. I know, Timothy from the future, you're not going to want to end this, but from here, put up a sign saying camp stories or camp stories around the fire with Timothy Ollis, period. My first camp story, oh my gosh, my first camp story came, well, okay, let me explain this story. This was a crazy story, guys. So we had a kid at our camp, and I'm not going to give away too much information because, again, safeguarding, we were protecting the the youths, we're protecting them, but we had a kid at our camp, guys, who basically was not stable, and this taught me that, you know, this made me really, really afraid. But this kid basically, one of the camp counselors was telling me this story. He was just telling me that basically they had to pick up this kid from the airport because he wasn't coming originally from America, right? So he was getting flown in, and they were picking him up from the airport. And this kid had a history of getting expelled from camps. So he had been to 6 camps and he had got expelled. And basically they just sent him home. They were just like, we can't do this. So you would think that the 7th camp that he's coming to, you know, like we would get some level of a warning that this kid is, you know, maybe a bit unstable, or like there would be some kind of parameter in place. But we didn't get any of that, guys. Like, this kid got picked up from the airport, and my friend was talking to him. My friend, being a camp counselor, was talking to him in the back of the van. He was just like, what are you looking forward to about camp? Like, what are your hobbies? You know, just the normal chit chat. And this kid was just like, well, I really love to fight. Like, I love WWE. I love all of this kind of wrestling. And my camp counselor was just like, okay, he didn't think anything about it. He was just like, okay, this kid just loves, you know, what normal boys love, you know, all that kind of violence. And he had his phone, so he was playing like some kind of wrestling game. So this didn't seem abnormal. Like, the information about this kid being getting expelled from 6 camps hadn't come to light until after what happened. So he got picked up, he got brought to our camp, and he was in one of the groups of, like, normally our camp is arranged into different cabins. So like, you'll be in a cabin with, like, if you're like in a cabin with like 5 other boys, and you'll have like 2 camp counselors or something like that there. So he was put into a cabin with 7 or 5 other boys or something like that. And there was a boy inside the group who he did not like. So we're going to call this boy who has the issues, we're going to call him Toby. And we're going to call the boy who he didn't like Adrian, right? So Toby did not like Adrian, and Toby would get into arguments with this boy, and we should have known what kind of kid Toby was. I still to this day believe that they should have told us more about Toby and his issues, but we didn't know. So Toby did not like Adrian, and he would get into a lot of fights with Adrian. And then another thing that was weird about Toby came into the camp with a safe. Inside the safe was a knife, was $300, and his passport. Another red flag. So Toby came into camp with this, and he had it inside his cabin, and I don't know how he concealed it, but eventually his camp counselor found out about this this safe, and we got a whole meeting about this safe and like what we had to do, and like making sure the kids don't have any like stuff they shouldn't have, and this got confiscated from Toby. So Toby now was getting more angry as the days gone. He had his safe taken away from him, plus he was in this cabin with this kid who he didn't like, Adrian. And basically what ended up happening between Toby and Adrian was, in the middle of the night, I don't know which day this was, I don't know how far into the week it was, but in the middle of the night, Toby wakes up and he basically walks over to Adrian's bed in the cabin, and Toby starts punching Adrian in the face. He starts going at it, punching Adrian in the face. And Adrian is just not, like, he is sleeping. Like, you're sleeping, and imagine someone wakes you up and is just punching you in the face. You won't even know what to do. So Adrian is like what the heck is going on, you know? And then Toby drags Adrian outside. So Adrian is now getting punched outside, and he's now awake, and he's just like, what the heck is going on? And he's screaming, he's crying, he doesn't know what to do. But this is midnight at camp, guys. Nobody is there to help you, and the camp counselors were not waking up. So this kid is getting assaulted by this other kid. And what does he do? What else would he do? He starts running. So he starts running in the middle of the night, in the darkness. Guys, our camp, guys, has bears, deer, snakes everywhere, guys. As in, I've seen them, you know? So Adrian keeps running, like he's running anywhere. Like, we have lights, so he's running in the middle of the night away from Toby. Adrian is running. Eventually, Toby catches up to Adrian, gets him to the ground, is punching him, beating him up, and eventually people find out, and like it gets dissolved. You know, we have like a health center, and they basically separate the 2 kids. Guys, Adrian's parents find out about this, and I'm gonna have to maybe cut some bits out here. But Adrian's parents find out about this, guys, and like, it's not good. And let's just put it like this: they were not happy. Legal action, full stop. And this kid Toby, yeah, he got packed up, guys. He got packed up away from our camp. And what was weird to me was this. Maybe it's a little bit on theme because I'm currently wearing army print, but Toby came into camp with two massive like bags, and they were army print bags. He also was booked in for like 6 weeks or something like that, or 7 weeks, and normally the kids come for 1 week. If you're saying maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, but if you're saying for more than 2 weeks, it's normally like an indicator that your parents don't want to really see you during the summer. And Toby actually had issues. Toby had like mental health issues in terms of like anger issues, maybe bipolarism. And this kid had like a shaved head. Like, it was giving all the red flags, guys. And when it was funny because his bag was in the cabin that I was going into, I was just like, who owns this bag? This bag was not a small bag, guys. It was a massive flipping bag. And I was just like, this kid, after I heard the story time, I was just like, nah, guys, nah. Like, this was the kind of let me not say crazy, that's not very nice. This is the kind of situations that we had to deal with in our camp, guys. And there are many more stories. Maybe one day I'll have a whole podcast episode discussing everything that happened. But for now, guys, it was a crazy situation. And it just taught me that your parents, I don't know if parents listen to my podcast, guys, please take care of your children. All those of you who want to have children, guys, please take care of your children. Put in the measures that are going to help them. If you know your child has mental health issues, not every child is going to have like be perfectly calm. You know, if you know your child has mental health issues, guys, please like adhere to those issues and actually fix them, and not fix them, but like give them the support that is needed, you know, with those mental health issues, because it's not fair that children have to undergo these kind of situations and like become story times, you know. But I really do hope Toby gets the help he needed. I hope Adrian is okay. And yeah, guys, that is one of the crazy ass stories that I have from my camp. We're gonna move on, guys. What is the next segment? What is the next segment? Okay, we've been filming for a while. Oh my gosh. We're going to move on to the dilemmas and the hot tea, guys. Okay, guys, we're back for the dilemmas and the hot tea. So we're going to start off with a dilemma that I found here, guys. And let me know what y'all think, because it's a flipping crazy one. Am I the asshole for spending my child's inheritance, leaving almost nothing to them and my grandchildren? I'm a 63-year-old. I took advantage of better times, financially speaking, and managed to get enough money to save, have a good retirement, and leave a good inheritance for my children. However, their actions in recent years has broken my heart. My oldest daughter is a lawyer, married to an attorney. I have another son who is a lawyer, and a third who became an engineer, and the youngest is a salesman. I have been a smoker for many years, and the predictable outcome has finally caught up to me, so I may not have many years left. After knowing this, my children began stabbing each other's backs, trying to get their inheritance early. Initially were frequent verbal discussions that escalated to legal battles. The boiling point came when my daughter forged her brother's signature to take their part of the inheritance while I was being treated at the hospital. Now, none of the siblings can see each other eye to eye and only talk through lawyers. Saddened by this situation, decided to spend the money, thinking that if all of it is gone, they would have no reasons to fight. I donated to charities, bought my wife beautiful items, went on vacations with her paying for the better looking hotels, gave my grandkids expensive gifts, bought my dearest friends and colleagues better equipment to improve their work. We bought a huge TV, paid for my funeral, tasted some fine whiskey, amongst other things. Right now, about 65 to 70% of the savings are now gone. I plan to keep enough for the time I have left and leave my wife a good cash amount. Oh my gosh. Guys, what a dilemma. Oh my goodness. Like, oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. I think, firstly, fair enough, fair play. Like, I respect that. Like, I think at the end of the day, who is your, like, honestly, my question is, who do y'all think y'all are deciding what y'all gonna do with my money? That's what I have to say. Who do you guys think you are? Like, this money, last time I checked, is under my name, is in my bank account, guys. The current account belongs to who? Me. So why the heck do you guys think it's okay to start pulling dibs and dabs on that money? So I completely agree. But at the same time, I have to look at it holistically. And I think as like the father, I don't know if you're the father or well, you said it could be father or mother actually. I think it's up to you to actually try and draw them in a little bit, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that they're in the right for trying to talk about this inheritance. But I think it may have been better if it was a discussion coming from you saying, this is what is looking like, this is what is going to happen, not only financially, but this is what is going to happen to our family dynamic if I die, X, Y, and Z. And maybe that would have allowed a bit more clarity. Whereas if they had just known about the diagnosis, they may just instantly go down the mindset of, okay, what's going to happen to the money, But I don't think it's your fault in the slightest. I think at the end of the day, fair play. Like, who the heck do you guys think you are pulling dibs and dabs on my money? And I'm getting treated in hospital. That's diabolical. That's really diabolical. So I respect you for doing that. I really do. And I think, yeah, give your wife a good life. Give yourself a good life. Enjoy your last couple of years. Because at the end of the day, in these situations where like maybe he has cancer, in these situations where it's a really terminal illness, it's about the person who is sick. It's not about the family, period. Like, there's certain situations in life where it's not about you. It's about the family. It's about, the situation at hand and navigating that change, It's not about you. And I feel like in a lot of these situations, family tend to prioritize themselves. Even whenever it's marriage, whatever the case may be, these instrumental, like, moments of life, they kind of prioritize themselves. I'm just like, guys, calm the heck down. This is not about you. This is about this person who's currently sick. So I respect that. And also, you said they are an attorney, lawyer, engineer, salesman. So they have coin. Girl, I hate to say it, but I don't think your children like you, child. I don't think, because that's ridiculous. Nah, that's ridiculous, guys. But let me know what you guys think about that. That is crazy. Put it in the comments, guys. That's flipping insane. Oh my gosh. We're going to move into the last segment for today, guys. We are operating on a little bit of a time crunch. The crunch of the time. The time has been crunched, guys. But where is it? Oh my gosh. We're going to go into the hot tea. The tea that is always hot. Guys, for the first bit of the hot tea we have today, we have Ibrahim from Dubai Bling. Guys, I don't know if you guys watch Dubai Bling, but Dubai Bling is fab. It's firstly fab. Like, I just love the lifestyle. The lifestyle for me is just so interesting, But Ibrahim, oh my gosh, you search up Ibrahim on TikTok, guys, if you don't know who Ibrahim is. Ibrahim is one of the guys on the Dubai Bling, and everyone is always talking about this man's sexuality. Leave him the heck alone. Like, everyone is just saying, how can you be married to a woman and you like having like a veil, you like having all of these different feminine things? Firstly, this is a conversation we're gonna have at some point, guys, but all of this stuff is flipping ridiculous. Firstly, people can wear what they want to wear, period. You can wear what you want to wear. You can act how you want to act, period. Like, the way you act doesn't determine who or whatever the situation you like. No, I've always been advocated for this, like, and especially me coming to my own identity as well, like having long hair. People will always say something like, oh, you have long hair, you're this, you're that, X, Y, and Z. Guys, mind your flipping business, firstly. And secondly, just because I like my hair to be long doesn't mean any assumption at all. Like, doesn't mean anything at all, period. So I hate this assumption mindset that a lot of people have. Like, whenever I've been seeing it on TikTok, everyone's just talking about him. Yes, he may have like a 10-foot long veil coming from his shoulders. Yes, he may have a little bit of makeup on his face. Yes, he might be putting on a little bit of concealer. Whose business is that? Like, categorically, whose business is that? So I will never understand that. And I don't really think there's anything else that needs to be said. Let Ibrahim. Let him Ibrahim. Honestly. Guys, I don't know why y'all like to take different paracetamols. Y'all are taking different types of ibuprofen. Y'all is taking different types of cocodamol for someone else's headache. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Let's try and get into a mindset, guys, where we start focusing on ourselves. This mindset of being in everyone's business is so flipping toxic and ridiculous. Y'all are taking so many different types of medications for someone else's headache that y'all don't even know what y'all are putting into your own systems. Guys, It's 2025, not 24, 25. Leave other people's issues alone. Leave them alone. Because last time I checked, they're not paying your checks. They're not paying your bills. So whatever is not putting money into your wallet, into your purse, is not your business, period. And I always will stand on that. Check that. And the last bits of tea, oh my gosh. Guys, running on a time crunch is not for the weak. It's not for the weak. Oh my gosh. So the last bits of, oh yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. I saw a little bit of her on the social webs, and the girls was talking nonsense about Megan. Leave Megan alone. You see, this is, in fact, a hot topic. We'll talk about her tomorrow. What I wanted to say is this. I feel like we're so focused on every other person's issues. And I'm not saying that we should be inconsiderate. You know, people have real issues that they're going through, and we actually need to be receptive to how to deal with that, 100%. But do that from a position of knowing the person. If you're friends with them, that's the time, babes. That's the time where you're supposed to be checking in on that person, making sure they're good. Oh, I've noticed this. What's going on? You know? But if you don't know somebody, leave them the heck alone. These girls were talking about Megan Thee Stallion, saying that, oh, how is she dating this Tory guy? Blah, 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 blah. Is it your business? No. So leave her alone. It was honestly giving Mean Girl energy. It was Lana Rhoades and all of... Yes, I'm gonna say the name. It was Lana Rhoades and all of these other girls who were saying on this podcast, talking about flipping Megan Thee Stallion. Last time I checked, she don't give a heck about y'all. So leave her alone. Period. That was really irritating, guys, but I'm going to come out of that mindset and we're going to close off today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Give us a 5-star rating if you can. If you're watching, please, it would really help us out. And make sure to check us out on social media. If you're going to wanting to follow, oh my gosh, if you want to follow this podcast, it's Ollis TV on Instagram and the Ollis Show on everywhere else. So TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, the Ollis Show. If you want to follow me, your host, it is just Timothy Ollis. And yeah, guys, we're going to close out for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.